Hi everyone, I've done this video because I have got a very large hematoma on my thigh, which I got from a water skiing crash. The handle hit, I think, about here, and it caused a vein to bleed, and I have ended up with bruising and hematoma all over my leg. It obviously bled down, and you can see where the blood has run with gravity down my leg and all behind, but the actual injury was on the top and has spread all over my thigh. So this is a hematoma day 11. I couldn't have any drainage when I went to hospital for the first night. It was pretty painful for the first night, so I ended up going to hospital just for pain relief. But since then I've been okay. I really haven't had to have any pain relief. It's been hard to walk on for the first sort of 7 to 8 days because of every time you tread on it, the blood sort of seems to put so much pressure on it, and then every time you move your muscle, it seems to hurt. So, but now I'm sort of walking gently okay. So yeah, for the first sort of few days, you do everything that the doctor says to do: rest, ice, compression, elevation. And I didn't have it drained because it was just so widespread all over my leg. So if you've got the same, I've got a few tips that might help you. And it's helped me a lot over since the first 2 days where you really just sort of doing the rice technique: rest, ice, compression, elevation. But since then I got told if it's hot to touch, which it still is, then it's good to still ice. So I'm still putting ice on it for 20 minutes a couple of times a day, just on the hot bits. Definitely elevating is good. I'm doing sort of a half rest, half activity process where if you get up for an hour, I elevate it for an hour. And I've started doing sort of some gentle exercise. I've heard if you keep it too stiff, then you're at risk of getting, I think it's called myotis ossificans or something, where the bone starts developing in your muscles. So I've started just doing some gentle sort of stretching, trying to bend the knee, get it up, tightening my thighs. Been in the swimming pool a few times to do some hydrotherapy. And also I'm finding the massage is really good. Just some gentle up and down massage. It doesn't hurt as much as it used to. It's still very hot and hard to put too much pressure on, but just some gentle massage up and down. I've just put some Hydroid cream on it and massaged it with that. I just bought a new tube because I'm finding the Hydroid cream is very, very soothing. I've tried arnica, which is I think the herbal remedy, and I've tried, someone else gave me Vicks Vapor Rub to try, but I just don't find they're as effective as the Hydroid cream. And the combination of Hydroid and icing it and the compression, obviously with a tubey grip. The idea was to compress during the day. I've just taken it off to show you, but I'm leaving the compression tubey grip on all day, and then I take that off at night and let my leg breathe, and I elevated it on a pillow at night and put a pillow between my legs just for comfort. Other than that, I have been taking some vitamin C, iron and turmeric. I'm not sure if they help or not, but they're not going to do any harm if not. The iron, because I just felt like I was probably going to be a bit low on blood, given I've lost so much blood, just to boost my hemoglobin. Vitamin C obviously helps you absorb iron better, and if you read about it, it helps repair body tissues as well. And the turmeric is supposed to be a natural anti-inflammatory, so that's what I have been taking, and finding that I am improving slowly but steadily, and getting a lot more movement, which is great. So I hope that helps.